This will be our last 350 for the 2013 model year. Certainly some would say we saved the best for last. The XCF, that's really just the SX model with an 18-inch rear wheel, a kickstand, and just a couple minor differences. What does that mean? Well, it is by far the lightest, fastest 350 four-stroke off-road race bike that you can buy. Does that mean it's my favorite? Well, it's pretty darn good. Anytime you want to go fast, this is the tool to have. We've had some pretty good experiences with it, and watched some of our buddies really enjoy riding this bike. The only modification we did to our bike was to install this linkage guard. This is from Fastway. The stock shock hangs down there pretty low, so this thing goes on and replaces the linkage there and provides some pretty good protection. This has one race on it, and it's pretty amazing just in one race how much damage that thing has seen. So I think it's a pretty good option. It's becoming more and more common, particularly with all the endurocross riders are starting to run these. What's unique about the Fastway part is this is an eccentric here that you can flip around to modify the linkage. And there's actually two different inserts, so there's 4 total positions that you can use to modify the linkage and how the initial spring rate and the shock works. So the $49 question, is the 350 XCF the best of the 350s? We have been testing it, as we have with many things, right alongside our 350 EXC. The old EXC there, you know, I've got over 100 hours on this bike so far, and it just never ceases to impress me. As for better, best, well, it's kind of a matter of opinion. If you're looking for a race bike, there is absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts. The 350 XCF is the motorcycle to go fast on. My buddy Paul Krause, he raced his brand new bone stock at National Hare and Hound last weekend. End of the bomb run, first race on the bike too, he had no time on it. End of the bomb, he was 3rd behind Kirk Caselli and Ivan Ramirez. He lost a few places throughout the race, but he still finished inside the top 10, I think 7th overall on a bone stock 350. Yeah, he's pretty enthusiastic about this bike, so there is no doubt it has tons of potential. One very definite characteristic about the XCF is that it is a much firmer feeling motorcycle. Now, I'm not just talking about the suspension. I'm talking about the chassis. The chassis is stiffer, the swing arm's stiffer, and that bigger rear axle. You feel that. I mean, the bike is, on the motocross track, it's super accurate. Where even on the EXC, I can feel it start to, you know, it just starts to wander around a little bit when you start to push it hard. XCF stays amazingly accurate. But out in the desert, open terrain, going fast, that translates to kind of a rough ride. It's a little bit busy. It keeps you working all the time. Yesterday we were out riding at the track, Ronnie Wilson, myself, and going back and forth between the bikes. Again, no doubt the XCF is faster and lighter, but there's still characteristics about that one with the license plate on it that I really like on the even on the motocross track. I'm more comfortable with the open chamber fork now that I've got set up with stiffer springs in it. For our day yesterday on the track, the PDS was certainly working much better. Not that there was anything wrong at all with the linkage, but the feel on the PDS is just so precise, and it takes a little while to learn it. But once you do, I really like it. And so back to that PDS versus linkage question. Trail riding, PDS all the way. Racing, then we get to about a 50-50. The problem with the 50-50 is the important part is when you hit things way too hard, and now we're back to where the linkage is really good for just those, oh my, this is going to be bad situations. That's where the linkage really proves itself. The XCF, it likes to rev. If you let it drop off the RPMs, you know, you really feel it. It doesn't have the bottom end, even that the older model XCF had. Now I have put the map switch on it, played with that a little bit. By putting the map switch in the mild position, that definitely brings a little bit of the bottom end back. And amazingly, it doesn't give up very much on top. It's actually a really good all-around position. So there we go. I could definitely live with this bike and be pretty happy with it once I got the suspension set up to my liking. And the other riders, both Ronnie and Paul Krause, they're just in love with this bike. So I've got to put a lot of, yeah, both of them are faster than I am, so I've got to give them some credit for that. I've got to say, I think the XCW is still the bike I would want to go with. I could modify it with an exhaust, with some mapping change, and with some suspension work, and come out with a bike that's very close in terms of pure performance to the XCF, but then has a whole huge broad range of trail riding capability also. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in. As always, you can see more on the website, enduro360.com, and we will talk to you soon.